Live from the tank on the campus of the College of Staten Island, CSI Sportsnet presents exclusive NCAA Division III women's basketball coverage. The first half of tonight's CUNYAC doubleheader live from the College of Staten Island features the Dolphins of the College of Staten Island taking on CUNYAC rival, the Bloodhounds of John Jay College. Good evening, everybody. This is Joe Foreman, joined by Mike Babuski, bringing you all the action live from center court during tonight's CUNYAC doubleheader. And Mike, the Dolphins got their CUNYAC season off to a good start with a 21-point victory over CCNY 4 days ago.
Yeah, you know, Joe, they came out and they played a real solid game. It was a game that CCNY came out hot in the first couple of minutes, hit their first few three-point attempts, but the Dolphins eventually went out in front and finished that quarter in front by a score of 23-18. And, you know, they really never looked back from them. They played a very game CCNY team, but the Dolphins got a lot of good performances from a lot of players in that game. Kayla Schmitter came off the bench for the Dolphins in that game and had a good game leading the Dolphins and scoring with 16 points. Three other players in double digits for the Dolphins. Megan McEwen finishing with 14. Devin Mooney with 14 as well. And Diana Tadero picked up 10 points for the Dolphins. So it was a game the Dolphins came out, played very well in, pulled ahead in the third quarter, Joe, and really didn't look back from that point forward.
And the Dolphins had 4 double-digit scores in that game against CCNY, including Devin Mooney, Kayla Schmitter, who you mentioned, Diana Tadaro, and Megan McEwen. McEwen's been giving the Dolphins a lot of quality minutes this year, and she logged a team-leading 36 minutes in that game, shooting 5 of 13 from the field, 4 of 8 from beyond the arc for McEwen in that game as well. So McEwen's really been big for the Dolphins. She also added 3 steals, which led the Dolphins against the Beavers in that game as well. And the last look I got at this Dolphins team here on the air with you was against NYU. And in that game, something that I mentioned was how the Dolphins have been looking inside a bit more this year, shooting fewer three-pointers. And it really seems like that has worked out well for them. They're off to a strong start this season, a record of 4-2, of course, the CUNYAC victory over CCNY as well. But I've really been impressed with how this team has diversified their offensive attack a bit. We saw a lot of transition baskets last year coming off of turnovers. This team has operated in the half court a bit more, but haven't relied too heavily on the three-pointer so far in 2018. If you're looking to get the ball inside, and have done so effectively. Yeah,
you know, Joe, this is a different team in that they have a lot more size this year. Kayla Schmitter really makes a big difference for this Dolphin team. She's an inside presence for the Dolphins, who stands at 6 feet. Rosa Perone is playing very well this year, and Diana Tadero back again. So the Dolphins have a lot more size than they've had in years past, and that's been giving them the ability to do some more things inside. I think they're rebounding the basketball a little bit better this year than they have in the past. They're out-rebounding their opponents here early in the season, not necessarily scoring as many points, but really doing a good job on the defensive end and a good job rebounding the basketball, and have really been off to a very impressive start, Joe. A couple of big wins for the program against a couple of rebuilding teams, NYU and William Patterson, but nonetheless very impressive wins for a Dolphin team that's always struggled against those clubs before. And, you know, a great start for our first-year coach, Nicole Sarcone. So Dolphins really coming in, playing very well, and looking forward to seeing their first home conference game here tonight against the John Jay Bloodhounds.
Well, you mentioned a slight uptick in the rebounding for the Dolphins this year. I believe at times last year they may have had a slightly positive rebound margin, but in many games rebounding did prove to be an issue last season. This year, the Dolphins, as you mentioned, out-rebounding the opposition, but an area where the Dolphins have slowed down a bit is the turnover margin. They are still turning their opponents over more in the games that they played this season, and they have turned the ball over themselves. They're +3 in the turnover department, but last year we saw some really crooked numbers in that turnover margin department for the College of Staten Island, and obscene amount of turnovers by the opposition in some games, and that led to some of the transition baskets I mentioned before. Many of those very easy baskets, which saw the Dolphins raising their field goal percentage a bit more easily last year. This year, they're really struggling to shoot a high percentage from beyond the arc, just shy of 23% so far this season. So that's number they'd like to improve upon as well. And despite the team playing very well, they're shooting just shy of 36% from the field, a number that I'm sure head coach Nicole Sarkon would like to see increase as well. But the Dolphins have done many things well this year. We mentioned they've been working the ball inside a bit better, still turning the opposition over enough to create those transition opportunities and easy baskets, but they'd certainly like to see a more efficient shooting percentage moving forward.
Yeah, you know, Joe, you mentioned a little bit earlier the way that Megan McEwen's been playing for the Dolphins, and she's really been such a key for the Dolphins because going into the season, you had to wonder who the player was going to be that was going to be able to handle the ball and handle the pressure. And, you know, it's a big challenge for any player. And, you know, Megan has really come in and really from the first game on is really played with a great deal of confidence, as has this entire Dolphin team. So, you know, a lot of credit goes to Megan for her ability to really step in and run the team. And, you know, they played very well. They coming off of a big win against CCNY and, you know, coming in and playing a very improved John Jay team that is coming in off a big win against Lehman College.
Well, John Jay also winning a conference matchup in their last game. As you just mentioned, the Bloodhounds entering tonight's action with a record of 4-2. Both the Dolphins and John Jay have won their lone CUNYAC conference matchup. As you get a look at the CUNYAC standings, and you see that all the teams in the conference, with the exception of CCNY, I know CCNY played the Dolphins, so that I'm sure it should be an 0-1 for CCNY, but the Beavers did lose to the Dolphins. So every team in the conference has played a single game. The winners, CSI, John Jay, Brooklyn, and Hunter. And the losers down there at the bottom of your screen, Baruch, the team that has not played. So I did see an odd number of teams. So those 8 teams that you see on your screen with a number in the win and loss column, the 8 teams that have played so far within the conference this year, Dolphins, Bloodhounds, and Hunter, along with Brooklyn, the Bulldogs, winners in their conference openers. But tonight we see the Dolphins take on the John Jay College Bloodhounds, and you shifted the focus over to John Jay just a few moments ago. I mentioned the Bloodhounds come in with a record of 4-2, but I think more importantly to note, they come in having won 4 straight games after a pair of huge losses at Keystone and against Albertus Magnus College at home to open up their 2018 campaign. Since then, the Bloodhounds have played well. Victories over Lehman, a game you just mentioned. Also victories over the College of New Rochelle in a close game, a 66-63 victory. Then against St. Joe's, Long Island, they took that game 83-65 and defeated Mount St. Vincent 65-54. So this John Jay team comes in playing well in their last 4 games especially, and on the season right now, the Bloodhounds shooting about 35%, just shy of the Dolphins mark. The Dolphins between 35 and 36%, but the Bloodhounds have allowed opponents to shoot 38% so far from the field this year. So this is a team the Dolphins could look to shoot the ball a bit better against, and we'll see if they can capitalize tonight. Yeah,
and the Bloodhounds led by CUNYAC Player of the Week, Albright. Albright coming off of a 27-point effort in that big win against Lehman College for Lehman earlier over the weekend, and Albright averaging a little over 18 points a game and 8 rebounds, and Navasha Howard also coming in averaging 12.8 points a game and over 11 rebounds a game. So the Bloodhounds have a couple of players playing well. Lily Ratkavitz also coming in averaging 10 points a game for the Bloodhounds. And, you know, one of the struggles that John Jay has had in the past, Joe, has been their ability to score the basketball. And, you know, this year they have the average up to 62 points, you know, a little bit of an improvement for the Bloodhounds. So it'll be interesting to see how the Dolphins face the Bloodhounds here this afternoon and how they fare against this Bloodhound squad.
Well, you mentioned the 3 double-digit scores for John Jay. The Dolphins also with 3 double-digit scores of their own. Katie Healy right on the heels of double-digit scoring for the Bloodhounds, averaging 9.4 points per game on the season. You mentioned a few names there the Dolphins will have to watch out for here tonight. The Dolphins have played stellar defense so far early in 2018. We've seen some close competitive games to open the season, especially that game against NYU. Dolphins ran away with that one in the second half. The game against Misericordia, the Dolphins hung around in that one, another game that we covered here on CSI Sportsnet, but the Dolphins did ultimately fall short in that game by 14 points. And in just a few moments, the starting lineups will be introduced and the national anthem will be played. So we'll step aside and take a break. When we come back, we will have the starting lineups for you and tip-off between the Dolphins and John Jay College in our first CUNYAC matchup of the season here on CSI Sportsnet.
I got a crick in my neck, limp in my step, cramping in my muscles every time I try to flex. I don't know why I'm scared of. It's very sad, no more love. All that I can do is remember you. You know I usually say no, but if you throw me love, I'll throw you some more.
Hi, I'm Peter, and there's nothing I love more than sharing vegetables with my friends.
Come on in! Help yourself to anything.
That's why we give our food the utmost respect it deserves. Did you know there are simple steps we can all take to help save food? You can cook it, store it, even share it. Just don't waste it. Because when it comes to food, better ate than never. To learn more, visit savethefood.com.
I remember, Dad, you and Mom got this car with a hatchback. I said, you know, I'd be happy to give you the money to get a really great car. And he said, well, no, this works for me. I says, why? Because it's the right height to put the meals in. Dad, tell me when you first got an inkling about Meals on Wheels.
There was kind of an abandoned house. That's where we got started with Meals on Wheels. We kind of filled a need for people as they got older.
It's the human interaction that probably fed them much more than the food.
Oh, yeah. When you can see somebody else benefiting by your life in some way, you can't help but feel good about it, I think.
Well, the reason I'm involved, Dad, is because you are, and you're so inspiring. How you've impacted people is enormous.
Drop off a warm meal and get more than you expect. Volunteer at americaletsdolunch.org.
America, let's do lunch.
And we are back from the tank as the starting lineups for both teams are about to be introduced. Once again, this is Joe Foreman alongside Mike Babusky. And with the starting lineups for you tonight, my broadcast partner, Mike Babusky.
Thanks a lot, Joe. First for the visiting John Jay Bloodhounds, it'll be number 10, Lily Vakatsits, number 11, Samantha Martia, number 23, Ayaya Albright, number 30, Madison LaLeone, and number 32, Nyasha Howard. For the College of Staten Island, it will be number 1, Megan McEwen. The remainder of the starting lineup, Nicole and Bessie in the starting lineup for the Dolphins here tonight, along with number 13, Diana Tadaro, number 24, Jackie Callie, and number 32, Rosa Perone. The Dolphins coached by first-year head coach Nicole Sarcone, who comes into tonight's game with a record of 4-2.
Those are the starting lineups for both sides here tonight. And our first CUNYAC home matchup of the season. Of course, the Dolphins have already played one CUNYAC game. That was against the Beavers of CCNY. And on the floor right now, the Dolphins are being introduced. So we have a few more moments before tip-off. And in tonight's game, we did mention some players that the Dolphins will have to look out for. It will be Aleha Albright, as you mentioned before, Mike, leading the way in scoring for the John Jay College Bloodhounds with 18.3 points per game. Nyasha Howard following her with 12.8 points, and Lily Rakitsis with 10 points per game, rounding out the 3 double-digit scores for John Jay. We mentioned Megan McEwen's strong start to the season offensively for the Dolphins, leading the way with 15.2 points per game. Diana Tadaro comes in averaging 11 as well, and Kayla Schmitter with 10.7. We've seen Schmitter both start and come off the bench for the Dolphins so far this year. She will be coming off the bench tonight, and we did mention it before as well that Schmitter does give the Dolphins some much-needed size, and she has been a boost to them on the boards, especially considering that a lot of her work has been done off the bench, averaging just over 22 minutes per game. Schmitter still adding 6.3 rebounds per game to go along with 7.5 for Diana Tadaro, 4.8 for Megan McEwen, another 4.7 from Rosa Perone. So several players for the Dolphins very active on the board so far this year, and that includes Megan McEwen, who is a guard, not necessarily a player you expect to be active on the glass, but she certainly has been so far this year. And I did mention one big concern for the Dolphins, despite their solid play entering tonight's game. They do want to see their shooting percentage from the field increase as well as from beyond the arc. They're shooting shy of 23% from beyond the arc, but overall from the field, I'd like to see an improvement as well.
Yeah, and you know, Joe, the Dolphins have played very well, but one of the players in their starting lineup the Dolphins are really going to try to get on track tonight is Jackie Callie. And, Jackie has really struggled from the field this year, just hitting 4 of 31 attempts from the three-point line. And, her shooting percentage is just over 23% from the field as well. And, Jackie, of course, a much better shooter than that. And Dolphins looking to get Callie back on track in the game here tonight.
And they certainly will be looking to do that against a team that allows just shy of 69 points per game, the John Jay College Bloodhounds, scoring 62.3 points of their own as the Bloodhounds win the opening tip. This is Howard bringing the ball across center court, and we are underway in the first half of tonight's CUNYAC doubleheader from the tank. With it on the wing is Lalone. She kicks it out to the left wing. Driving inside is Howard, flips one up, off glass, no good. Rebound goes to the Bloodhounds, and putting it right back up was Lalone, and she is fouled.
Yeah, and that was a nice play that time by Howard. And we mentioned in the pregame, Joe, she's coming in averaging a double-double, 12.8 points and 11.2 rebounds. She tipped that ball over, and it's going to lead to free throws here for John Jay.
The early Dolphins foul charge to Rosa Perrone, and we've mentioned it in prior broadcasts. Perrone susceptible to foul trouble, and that's a big part of the reason why we've seen Kayla Schmitter get in some games early so far this year. Perrone has had to take an early seat with some foul trouble as both free throws no good from Lalone, and the Dolphins come away with the rebound, immediately get into their half-court set. Perrone inside to Tadaro, and she throws one up off the backboard, no good. Rebounded by the Bloodhounds. Once again, it's Howard bringing it across center court, looks to drive right, and she draws the foul.
37 seconds, and the Dolphins have already picked up their second team foul, Joe. So Dolphins finding themselves with early fouls. Tadaro and Perrone, both players had foul trouble in the last game against CCNY, and both players pick up fouls in the first minute.
So Tadaro and Perrone charged with one foul each early on. Bloodhounds finally knocked down a free throw, but can't connect on the second. Howard goes 1 of 2 from the line. Nicole and Bessie will bring it up for the Dolphins. And around the back move, gives it up to McEwen. McEwen dribbles to her right, ball right back with Nicole and Bessie. And Bessie uses the Perrone screen, passes over to Callie. Callie looking for some space, and she attacks the rim, is stripped inside, and that is stolen by Howard. Howard looking to push. Howard goes right at Megan McEwen, throws one up, no good. Rebound, Nicole and Bessie. Dolphins looking to push now. Here comes Megan McEwen. Drives inside and draws the foul. That foul will be charged to Lily Rakitsis.
And, you can see with each passing game, Joe, Megan picking up the confidence, and, that one looking to take it right to the basket, drawing the foul, and opportunity to go to the free throw line.
And McEwen's first free throw, no good. So the two teams now combined 1 of 5 from the line to start this game. Here comes free throw number 2 from McEwen, and that is good. Score even at 1. For a player with height of only 5'4", Megan McEwen very aggressive, attacking the rim. You don't see that too often. As the Dolphins putting on some pressure defensively, following the inbound pass, and losing the ball off of her own leg was Madison Lalone.
Yeah, nice defensive play that time by Callie to force the turnover. So the Dolphins will get to inbound. Both teams looking to get on track offensively here in the early going.
This time Megan McEwen brings it up, and that crossover got by Lalone for a moment. Perrone now has it, top of the arc, inside to Tadaro. And the Dolphins will follow up the Bloodhounds' turnover with a turnover of their own.
Yeah, so a couple of turnovers for the Dolphins here, and the Bloodhounds will have an opportunity to inbound.
Bloodhounds quickly across half court, moving the ball around, and that pass tipped by the Dolphins. I'm not sure they needed to look inside on that one, but possession will stay with John Jay. Looked like they had a shot there on the left baseline before throwing that ball into the paint. As that's inbounded to Albright, she drives, and quickly another foul charge to the Dolphins. If this is on Perrone, that's her second. It is.
Yeah, so, again, Rosa Perrone, it's going to have to go to the bench here early in the game. I haven't seen anybody get off the bench yet.
And it does not look like anyone will be getting up off the bench, as that will be because a timeout is called. There's a 30-second timeout, so we'll stay right here. And I'm sure it was already utilized earlier in this first quarter, but you got to look at our sideline camera on that last free throw attempt. First time I've glanced over at the monitor to get a good look at that. Ina Wong operating our sideline camera, and David Pizzuto, our engineer tonight, during our CUNYAC doubleheader. As the Dolphins take an early timeout, Mike, already have committed 3 fouls in this game. Really, we haven't seen much other than free throw shooting so far early in this one. What are your takeaways from the first 2 minutes?
Yeah, 4 fouls in 2 minutes, and it's it's a lot of foul calls in the early going, and there hasn't really been that much contact. And hopefully, as we go through the remainder of the first quarter and the remainder of this game, we could get a little more basketball and a little less whistles out on the floor.
So it's Aleha Albright at the line, and she knocks down the second of 2 free throws. So the Bloodhounds off to a rough start from the foul line, 2 of 6. Dolphins' lone point coming on a free throw as Schmitter is double teamed inside. Kick out to Callie, and she knocks down the 3. And you said it, Mike, Dolphins looking to get her going.
Yeah, if they could get her going offensively, it would make such a big difference for this team. Big 3-pointer for Jackie.
Dolphins ease off on the full court pressure on this possession following the made basket, as that's kicked toward the left corner. Losing possession of it was Lalone. Dolphins come away with the steal. McEwen works her way around a double team. Dolphins have numbers. McEwen drives into 2 defenders and draws the foul.
Yeah, and another example, Joe, of the confidence that Megan's been playing with. As you mentioned, she drove right past 2 Bloodhounds and took it all the way to the basket, and we'll go back to the line for the second time this quarter.
And if you're the Bloodhounds, you hate to see that, a player dribbling the ball right through a double team along the sideline. Oftentimes you hear coaches tell you to utilize that sideline or baseline as a third defender, and McEwen was easily able to work her way right past 2 Bloodhounds and get out on the fast break. With that first made free throw, she gives the Dolphins a 3-point lead.
And that foul was on Howard, so that'll be Navasha's first foul here in the first quarter.
And McEwen hits a pair of free throws as Tadaro goes down just short of center court. Bloodhounds navigating that Dolphins full court press, but a long pass into the paint is stolen by Tadaro. Pass intended for Martyr. Nicole and Bessie inside to Schmitter. She floats one up over the defense, rebounded by Tadaro. Her shot attempt is blocked. Here comes Howard bringing it across center court for the Bloodhounds. Once again, she looks to push. Dribbles into a pair of Dolphins and picks up her dribble before kicking it out to the corner. And Samantha Martyr is called for traveling.
Yeah, so the Dolphins force the turnover, and they'll get to inbound the basketball. A low-scoring start, but the Dolphins up by 4, 6-2.
Both teams looking to play fast right now, as we've seen both the Bloodhounds and Dolphins pushing the ball up the floor quickly. We've seen it result in some turnovers along the way as McEwen looked to recover that ball down in the corner. I'm not sure which way that would have gone if McEwen didn't touch it, but it goes to the Bloodhounds on the out of bounds.
Yeah, tough pass into the post that time, Joe. Well covered by the Bloodhounds, so the Dolphins turn the ball over.
Dolphins once again looking to exert full court pressure. The Bloodhounds have numbers, and that's an easy layup that is not converted by Aaliyah Lipton.
Yeah, Lipton missed the wide open one as Callie comes back, and she's hit her first 2 shots, and that's got to be big for her confidence, Joe.
It does, Mike. A pair of early baskets for Jackie Callie in this first quarter for the Dolphins. She has 5. As Lipton will bring it back out. Howard, open 3. No good. Off the back rim. Teams fight for the rebound. And coming away with it are the Bloodhounds. And after that first attempt was airballed, waiting on the other side of the rim was Healy to convert.
Yeah, Healy, nice job.
But the Dolphins come right back down the floor. Good pass from Schmitter to Tadaro. And that extends the Dolphins' lead back to 6. As Tadaro will pick up a second foul on that reach-in. Ball handler crossing center court, and I think Diana will likely take a seat here.
And that time Tadaro got called for reaching in, and this is the second game in a row, Joe, that she's had to go to the bench early in the first quarter after picking up her second foul. So, Dolphins don't want to limit Diana's aggressiveness, but she has to find a way to stay out on the floor.
Attacking the rim there and floating one up and in was Albright. Strong move over a pair of defenders as the Dolphins look to push once again. Brianna Rubisky, the Dolphin, who checked in for Todaro, as McEwen with a head fake, able to get the defender to bite, but then loses the ball as she dribbled toward the rim. Once again, it is Howard looking to push for John Jay, and looked like she attempted an around the back there, maybe a fake pass, and I don't think that one is planned, Mike.
Yeah, you know, it's going to just end up with a Bloodhound turnover, so Dolphins with the basketball and a 4-point lead.
Nyasha Howard's been very aggressive bringing the ball up for John Jay, really looking to push it every time she gets her hands on it as Schmitter attempts a three, and it is good from the left wing on the feed from Nicole and Bessie.
Yeah, so the 6-foot freshman buries her first three-point attempt.
We know Schmitter can score from inside the arc as that three-pointer no good by Albright. Rebound to Nicole and Bessie. Here comes in Bessie. She finds Callie. Callie with the head fake, she drives, and that's a wild shot thrown up off the glass, no good. She finds Schmitter off of the offensive rebound. Schmitter's jump shot no good, and the rebound goes out of bounds, but it will stay with the Dolphins as Brianna Rubisky with a good effort to fight for that ball.
And it looks like we'll have a timeout, Joe.
And we will. It's a Bloodhounds timeout. We'll see if it's a full or 30-second timeout. It will be a 30, so we'll stay right here. And, Mike, I have the numbers for the Dolphins right here in front of me. What stands out to you off of this stat sheet so far?
Well, you know, the biggest thing is that Jackie's 2 for 3 from the field, including hitting her three-point attempt. And, you know, we mentioned a little bit how much she's been struggling from the field. So that's a good start for the Dolphins. The big concerning thing, of course, is Perone and Todaro on the bench early, 2 personal fouls apiece. And, you know, again, Diana's second foul, a reach in well out beyond the three-point line, not the foul that you're looking for in that situation.
And certainly a good start for this Dolphins team, leading by 7 in the first quarter. As you get another look at some CUNYAC scores from around the conference. Lehman taking on Medgar Evers tonight in women's basketball. Cougars lead that game by 1. Also, Hunter leads York by 8 at halftime. So a lot of action around the CUNYAC conference tonight. And one more to come here following this one. The men also in action against the Bloodhounds of John Jay, as that's a good pass inside to Schmitter, who draws the foul. Foul will be charged to Katie Healy, but very quickly before Schmitter heads to the line, some more numbers that jump out for the Dolphins early in this one. They've knocked down both of their three-point attempts. We mentioned their need to improve from beyond the arc. They've shot well from the field. Nicole and Bessie also has added 3 boards in this one. She's done a good job on the glass for the Dolphins as Schmitter knocks down the first free throw.
Yeah, and, you know, she's coming in. She's now 13 of 15, which is over 87% from the line. So good job for Kayla as she's coming in, hitting her free throws, and the Dolphins have their biggest lead, 9 points.
Inbound high, and that will be a near turnover as McEwen dribbles it along that far sideline. And we'll have a Bloodhounds substitution. Nyasha Howard checks in. Not sure who checked out, but she came over from the scorer's table. It might have been Elia Albright.
You know, Joe, if I'm the Bloodhounds here, I want to try to find a way to use my size, and that means starting to pound the ball inside or drive with some of my bigger plays. That was a good play there, but instead the Bloodhounds will turn the ball over once again.
Well, Nyasha Howard's been very aggressive with the ball so far, pushing the ball up the floor and looking to penetrate off the dribble, but there she turns it over once again. We saw her turn it over before, recklessly driving into a trio of Dolphins as the Dolphins do take possession of it. McEwen open 3 left wing, and that's an air ball. So John Jay didn't defend that possession very well. McEwen got a good look at it, but couldn't convert. That's the first Dolphins miss from beyond the arc.
Yeah, you see the Bloodhounds, 6 turnovers to just 4 for the Dolphins in the first quarter.
As Callie went down hard in front of the scorer's table. That was Lipton who lost the ball, and Callie gets right back up. She's out on the break with Rubisky, but that pass a bit behind Brianna. She gives it up to Megan McEwen, who once again draws the foul. So McEwen will head back to the free throw line for, I believe, the 3rd time.
Yeah, that will be her 3rd attempt as Rubisky has checked into the game for the Dolphins as well, and Dolphins look to extend their biggest lead of the game. It's already up to 9.
Free throw attempts 5 and 6 for McEwen, and she's now converted on 4 of her first 5. Waha Albright will check back in for John Jay. As McEwen's second free throw is good. I'm trying to get a look at who she substituted for. I believe it was Katie Healy, who just came off the floor for John Jay, as once again the Dolphins pressuring the inbounds pass, giving the Bloodhounds fits, trying to get the ball in, and they win possession.
Yeah, you know, they're doing a great job defensively, and, you know, they gave CCNY NY fits the whole game, Joe, on Friday night, and they're doing it here to the Bloodhounds as well.
The Dolphins quickly earn themselves another possession. They work it inside to Schmitter. Pass knocked away. Kayla down on the floor, and I'm not sure that's a jump ball, but
yeah, that was a quick whistle, but Schmitter doing a nice job going down to the floor, and, you know, she's been real impressive, Joe, for the Dolphins here so far.
She's shown the ability to score from just about anywhere on the floor, as Callie puts up another three from the right wing, no good. And Howard comes away with the rebound. Howard working against McEwen, surveys the floor, and a play is called from the bench by Bloodhounds head coach Linda Day. Bloodhounds work it over to the left wing. That was Healy on the pump fake, so Healy didn't come out at that last whistle, and laying it up and in was Madison Lalone. I think it may have been Lily Rakitsis who came out at that last whistle, number 10. I was trying to get a look over at the bench, but tough to see from where we are. It's yet another Bloodhounds foul, this time drawn by Jackie Callie. The foul charge to Madison Lalone. It is the team's fifth. Bloodhounds in the penalty, and Jackie Callie will head to the line for the Dolphins.
So Jackie will shoot two. She's 48% from the line in 2018 and misses the first.
That missed free throw will drop the Dolphins down to 7 of 9 from the free throw line, as you get a look at the free throw shooting numbers on your screen. Very poor numbers for the Bloodhounds in this first quarter from the charity stripe, as Callie misses a pair. Here comes Howard. This time she'll pull up instead of looking to attack. That shot a bit long. And possession will go to the Dolphins as two players gave chase. Dolphins don't touch it. Visaja Watson will see her first action of the night. Watson off the bench early in this one in the first quarter.
Yeah, she's played in the last couple of games for the Dolphins and played some good minutes against CCNY on Friday.
Had a stellar plus-minus against Misericordia. We were checking out those numbers over at the scorers table during that game. Came on late in that one, as it's another foul drawn by the Dolphins, and can't even glance over to my right away from the stat sheet long enough to catch a Dolphins possession with how quickly the Bloodhounds have fouled the last two Dolphin trips down the floor. This time it's Brianna Rabisky at the line shooting two, and she knocks down the first.
And the first thing is that's Howard's second foul, Joe, here in the first quarter, so that's a big foul. And Rabisky, one of the better free throw shooters for the Dolphins. She's now 13 of 18 on the year.
Foul trouble for both sides, as Lily Rakitsis and Nyasha Howard for the Bloodhounds with a pair. Also for the Dolphins, Diana Tadaro and Rosa Perrone with a pair. So both teams suffering from early foul trouble, as that's a reckless inbound pass. I think she tried to put it through Mbessi's legs, and Mbessi lays it right up and in.
That's two possessions, Joe, in the last couple of minutes. The Dolphins stole the inbounds, but John Jay makes them pay now as they have a player bleeding back as Lipton gets the layup.
Well, I have to say, it's really remarkable as Mbessi quickly knocks down a shot. Dolphins come storming down the floor off the made basket and answer right back. But as I was about to say, it's been really remarkable how there has been a player underneath the rim for John Jay just about every time the Dolphins have pressured the inbound. We've seen 5 Dolphins beyond half court pressuring 4 Bloodhounds, and John Jay just can't get the ball across center court and into the hands of that player standing underneath the rim. So if you can't do that, you need to bring that player up beyond half court and help out the inbounder a bit, since it's clear John Jay is going to struggle in that department, as Albright goes up and a double team there, a wild shot, but a foul is called against Nicole Mbessi.
Sorry, Joe, that ball bouncing around, and Mbessi will pick up the foul as both teams now win the penalty for the final 2 minutes. As the Bloodhounds will go to the line, as Albright will shoot two.
Albright leading the way offensively for John Jay early on, but that's not saying much as this Bloodhounds team has really struggled here in the first quarter. Only 12 points and a plethora of turnovers to go along with them. Dolphins putting up 23 in this first quarter. Easily the best quarter I've seen from them here at home this season. Here comes Mbesi on the drive, and I think getting a piece of it was Healy. She now faces a double team, and that's a bad foul by Nicole Mbesi there against the team really struggling for offense. She'll send Katie Healy to the line for John Jay as the Dolphins are over the limit.
Yeah, and, the Dolphins have done that on the last couple of possessions, taking a team struggling from the field and putting them on the line. So now it'll be an opportunity for Katie Healy, the 5'9" freshman, to go to the line to shoot 2.
Well, I mentioned Alaha Albright leading the way for the Bloodhounds offensively, and several Dolphins playing well offensively. As you get another look at the score in that game between the Lightning and Cougars. Low-scoring game, 25-20 at the half. Lehman over Medgar Evers. But the Dolphins with a trio of 5-point scorers, Megan McEwen, Jackie Cowley, Kayla Schmitter, Nicole Mbesi also contributing 4 points as well. And the second free throw from Healy is good. She goes 1 of 2 from the line, and that will cut the Dolphins' lead to 12. 1:35 to go here in the first quarter. Kayla Schmitter surveys the floor, gives it up to Visaja Watson. Watson looking to drive, and tough shot by Watson, nearly converted. But it's Albright with the rebound. And a dangerous pass there as Megan McEwen was reading that one. Bloodhounds took their time getting that across center court as Lily Rakitsis back in the game, calling out a play. She looks to drive, kicks into the corner. Working her way inside there was Lipton, and the wild shot, no good. Here come the Dolphins. It's Megan McEwen. McEwen slows things down. Under a minute to go in the first quarter. Pass over to Watson. Watson drives. Left-handed shot inside, no good. As it looked like she may have had an open teammate behind her. That was Devin Mooney in the corner. Ball knocked away from Healy, but into the hands of Rakitsis. McEwen continuing to pressure defensively as the three-pointer is up and good. That shot by Jessica Gorman. Believe that's the first Bloodhounds three-pointer made in this first quarter. And it is. It cuts the Dolphins' lead to 7. Dolphins were in complete command of this first quarter a couple of minutes ago, but John Jay beginning to chip away as Rybisky drives and finishes easily.
Yeah, big basket by Rybisky to break up that Bloodhound run. They should have the last shot.
Open three once again for Gorman. That's a big shot for the Bloodhounds as Gorman can't connect from the corner. And at the end of one, the Dolphins lead the Bloodhounds of John Jay College 25-16. So when we come back, we'll have the start of quarter number 2 between the Dolphins and Bloodhounds. CSI will take a 9-point lead into the second quarter. This is exclusive NCAA Division III women's basketball coverage here on CSI Sportsnet, exclusively on CSIDolphins.com.
Morning, Gary. We are GetSchooled.com. You want a college education, don't you?
You know you do.
That's why we're here. We're free and here to guide you through every step of the way, starting with attendance. Gary, financial aid forms. Picking a college, man. You and us. We go together like tacos and Tuesday.
And I love tacos. Go to GetSchooled.com.
Look at you. You're at the top of your game. You're unstoppable. Nothing can throw you off track. Wait, is that your car? Uh-oh. Yeah, I saw that coming. That will throw you off track. You're looking at around 10 grand in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Let's try this again. Smart move. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
We are back from the tank at the end of one. The Dolphins lead 25-16. These two teams about a minute away from the start of the second quarter. And now with the full box score in front of us, Mike, what are your takeaways from quarter number 1?
Well, Joe, you look at the statistics. The Dolphins did a nice job defensively. They forced 8 turnovers. by John Jay. They only turned the ball over 4 times themselves. They shot pretty well, 7 of 16 from the field compared to 5 of 16 for the Bloodhounds. And, they go into the second quarter with a lead of 9 points, in a game that they've led by as many as 13. I think they're playing pretty well. They have a couple plays in foul trouble, but overall a very good first quarter for the CSI Dolphins.
Well, it really jumps out to me, Mike. 22 free throw attempts between these two teams, 12 for the Dolphins, 10 for John Jay. Bloodhounds converting on 5 of those 10 free throw attempts. The Dolphins on 9 of 12. So the Dolphins not only with a shooting advantage from the field, but from the charity stripe as well, as that floater is off the back rim. No good by Rakitsis. Rebound to Megan McEwen. And McEwen is fouled, and that's a tough foul picked up by Albright. And definitely the right call, but certainly not a foul you want to commit.
Well, Joe, we had 12 fouls called in the first 10 minutes of the game, and another foul called here in the first 17 seconds. And, there was a little bit of contact on that play, but I don't know that you need to stop the game on a foul call like that. And again, you call that foul every possession if you want to.
Certainly not a foul that you want to commit, but you said it, Mike. I'm sure a lot of fans may not want to see that foul called. As a deep 2 attempted there by Devin Mooney, no good. And the rebound goes to John Jay. And once again, they will get a play call from the bench. Let's see if they can execute, trailing by 9, just under a minute into quarter number 2. Comes Albright on the drive, takes some contact, rebound to Jessica Gorman, who then is able to show off some nice footwork to avoid Albright down on the floor as the Dolphins look to push off the inbound. McEwen into the corner for Rybisky. Thought about the 3, instead gives it back up to McEwen. Tadaro inside. Schmitter just beyond the free throw line, gives it back up to McEwen. McEwen floats one up. No good. Rebound Kayla Schmitter. And Schmitter goes up over Alaha Albright and converts off the offensive board.
What a great rebound and put back by the freshman for the Dolphins.
And you see her size paying dividends on that offensive rebound. Also made that shot look easy inside as the jump ball is called and possession is awarded to the Dolphins. So a very short-lived Bloodhounds possession following that Schmitter basket off the offensive rebound, and the Dolphins will head right back to the offensive end of the floor. Still leading by 9 early in quarter number 2. Rybisky will use the Schmitter screen, looking to get it back to her inside. Defended nicely, and that pass behind Diana Tadaro and stolen by John Jay. Rakitsis over to Albright. Albright looking to drive baseline, and she is called for traveling, and add that to the turnover tally for John Jay as that number continues to pile up.
Yeah, the Bloodhounds turning the ball over a lot here, Joe, as we have a score. CCNY up over Baruch by 6, I should say, 16-10 in the first quarter.
A lot of CUNYAC basketball action tonight, including our pair of games here as that one finds its way over towards us, and that is a Dolphins turnover, number 6 for CSI. Let's get a look at John Jay inbounding right in front of us with our setup along the near sideline on your screen. Happy to add more and more to our broadcast with each year. I've seen that since I've been here, starting 3 years ago. Every year we've added more and more capabilities, and it's nice to see that work pay off as once again it's a Bloodhounds turnover as the offensive foul is charged to Alaha Albright.
Nice play that time by Tadaro with 2 personal fouls. She took a chance, stepped in, and got there first, and was able to draw the offensive foul as the Bloodhounds turned the ball over once again, Joe.
It's Hunter over York by 6 in our latest CUNYAC women's basketball scoring update. Also, you can add Alaha Albright to the list of Bloodhounds with a pair of personal fouls. That makes 3 as Devin Mooney's jump shot no good. Fight for the rebound, and McEwen comes in and grabs it. McEwen drives. Nice bounce pass to Tadaro, who finishes inside, and that play really personifies what we've seen from Megan McEwen all season long, chasing down the offensive board, and then a stellar pass inside to Tadaro, who finishes.
Yeah, great play by McEwen. Tadaro picks up her second basket of the game. She's got 4.
At the top of the arc was Lipton. Swung it over to Rakitsis, who's working against McEwen. Rakitsis drives inside, and Rybisky cannot believe the call. I'm not so sure about that one either, but the call is a shooting foul against Brianna Rybisky. That's her first.
Yeah, so that's going to send the Bloodhounds to the lines. We have an opportunity to take another look at that, and a little bit of contact there, so Rybisky picks up the foul.
Certainly could have called a foul on Rosa Perone for reaching in along the way. But a tough angle for us getting a view from behind. Once again, though, the Bloodhounds missing another free throw as their struggles from the free throw line continue. That's 5 of 11 now. Make it 5 of 12. Rebound, Diana Todaro. It's Devin Mooney bringing it up for the Dolphins. Her and Megan McEwen splitting those duties as they swing it around to McEwen on the left wing. Bad pass inside, stolen by John Jay. Here comes Nyasha Howard. Howard with a deep 2, and it is indeed a deep 2-pointer for Howard, cutting the Dolphins' lead to 9.
Bloodhounds doing a nice job, though, of staying around in this game here, Joe.
Dolphins looked like they may seize control of this one early in that first quarter, but John Jay chipped away late as Rosa Perone with a nice runner over a pair of Bloodhounds along that left baseline. And, Mike, that's a tough shot.
That was a tough shot, and Rosa's first basket of the game. Dolphins open their lead back to 11.
And that's a wild shot by Rakitsis, who lowered the shoulder and then traveled as she tried to throw it up over the shoulder. Jackie Cali checks back in, and a rare breather for Megan McEwen with 6 minutes to go in quarter number 2.
So it'll be an opportunity for Devin Mooney to lead the team. And, Devin, another freshman player for the Dolphins, really comes out and plays with a lot of confidence.
John Jay continuing to see the turnovers pile up. They have 12, Dolphins with 7 of their own. And not only turnovers piling up, but foul calls as well. And that's on Albright. I think that's her third.
That's a huge foul, Joe, against the Bloodhounds, as that's going to send Albright to the bench probably for the remainder of the quarter and the remainder of the half. So a big foul, taking away a little bit of the scoring punch of the Bloodhounds.
For a team that has struggled offensively so far in this game, that's really tough to swallow as Diana Todaro goes up and catches that inbounds pass in a double team. A strong catch there, hands on display by Todaro, who then converts in that double team, giving the Dolphins their biggest lead of the game.
Yeah, that's a big play by Todaro.
3-pointer up, no good by Healy. Rebound to John Jay. They'll keep possession as Lipton goes up in traffic. I'm not sure that one ever had a chance as Jackie Cali grabs the rebound, works her way through the double team and some defensive pressure by the Bloodhounds. And once again, it's Todaro inside. This time can't finish. Rebound to Gorman.
Yeah, the Bloodhounds need to find a way to get a good shot. They've been rushing their offense, Joe. Ooh. And now we're going to have another offensive foul as, that time Howard just really put her head down and drove to the basket. And, there were Dolphin players there, and now Howard has 3. So both of the 2 Bloodhound top scoring players on the bench with 3 fouls. And, once again, as you take another look at that, I don't even think Howard picked her head up. So I'm not even sure that she saw Todaro standing there. And for the second time in the last couple of minutes, Todaro draws an offensive foul.
Well, I was about to say, there's no doubt about that one. Is Mooney able to look away the defense, can't finish. Todaro rebounds it, then rebounds her own miss, goes right back up, and that's off the frame of the backboard. Todaro probably should have kicked that one out. But she's been a monster on the offensive glass so far in this first half. As this game's getting more and more physical right there. Lipton is run over by Mooney. And on that last offensive foul, I believe we'll get another look at that Todaro catch and finish, and we will. As
look at that. It looked like, a receiver going up in between a couple of defenders. Todaro pulling the ball down, showing nice body control and laying it up and in. The Dolphins back to a 13-point lead. It matches their biggest of the game.
He took the words right out of my mouth, Mike. A sure-handed receiver going up in traffic as Katie Healy scores right there, and that cuts the Dolphins' lead back down to 11. CSI out in transition once again off the made basket, and you can count that basket for Diana Todaro, who converts, and she'll head to the line for one more.
Yeah, and that's going to be another foul called on the Bloodhounds. And, That's going to be a foul called on Lipton. That will be her first. The Bloodhounds with 5 fouls. So Tadera with an opportunity to go to the line and give the Dolphins their biggest lead of the afternoon. As you look at the free throw totals out on your screen, both teams with 12. Dolphins have hit 9, John Jay 5.
Well, the Bloodhounds certainly could be benefiting right now if they had been more efficient from the line through the first quarter and a half, but that is not the case, as the Dolphins now have their biggest lead of the game, 14 their biggest lead, 13 before, matching their biggest lead. They led by 13 with about 2.5 minutes to go in the first, now leading by 14 with just over 4 minutes to go in the second, and that's another Bloodhounds turnover.
Yeah, you know, Joe, you look at this Bloodhound team, and you know their players and their best players. Howard is a junior, and Albright is a junior, and you know they're going to look for them to come out in the second half and you know find a way to stay on the floor with 3 personal fouls.
But right now, those players sitting on the bench, and they'll have to achieve that in the second half, as Bloodhounds simply can't afford to risk playing them right now, and they're seeing this game begin to slip away as Jackie Callie converts the layup, and the Dolphins now lead by 16.
Beautiful crossover dribble that time by Jackie. She now has 7.
Good first half for Callie, and you mentioned that the Dolphins really needed to see that out of her offensively in this game, and so far she's been stellar in half number 1. Callie out in transition once again and grabs her own rebound off the miss.
Yeah, the Bloodhounds not doing a good job rebounding the basketball after committing their 15th turnover.
There's another Dolphins turnover.
That'll be their 8th.
Bloodhounds' pace has certainly slowed a bit with Howard on the bench. We've seen some more half-court looks for John Jay. Howard really looked to push every time she got her hands on the ball, as he wanted to travel there, no call, and backing down Tadaro was Healy, but she throws up an air ball. Callie brings it up for the Dolphins. Callie extended the arm there, but a blocking foul is the call. Bloodhounds over the limit, and that will send Jackie Callie to the line.
Yeah, that foul is going to be on Madison Lalone, and for Madison, that's going to be her second. The Bloodhounds over the limit, so Jackie to the line to shoot 2. She missed 2 free throws earlier in this quarter.
First free throw up and good from Callie. That will improve the Dolphins' free throw shooting to 11 of 13, I believe it is now. Make that 11 of 14.
Hunter with a 9-point lead over York in the third quarter.
Second free throw no good, as that's another CUNYAC conference scoring update. Healy gets ahead of the Dolphins' defense off a nice feed, but can't finish inside. Had a clear look at it as McEwen floats one up, and that's no good. Rosa Perone wanted the pass, but Bloodhounds were non-committal. McEwen does the right thing there and couldn't finish. Kitsis working against McEwen, gives it up to Healy inside, and that's another travel. And John Jay just can't get out of their own way right now, unable to convert from the charity stripe and continuing to pile up the turnovers.
Yeah, you know, turnovers really could kill you in these kind of games, Joe, and when you're struggling from the field and turning the ball over, that's going to be their 16th, I believe, of the first half.
As Rosa Perone finishes inside off the nice entry pass. Dolphins now lead by 19, as you got a quick look at another CUNYAC update. Beavers have extended their lead in that game over Baruch to 10. As that deep 2 up and no good by Healy, who's showing some visible signs of frustration. Here comes Jackie Callie. Callie drives and finishes. And another strong finish inside by the Dolphins, in particular Callie here, who adds to her first half scoring total. She now has 10.
Yeah, and you know, Jackie's been shooting the ball even when she's struggling with her shot, and tonight the shot going in and playing really well for the Dolphins.
And that's Katie Healy with a quick answer at the other end. Just over a minute and a half to go in the first half. There's a great pass from McEwen to Tadaro, and Tadaro with the good body control to come up on the other side of the rim and finish inside. Dolphins lead by 21 once again. Timeout Bloodhounds It is a 30-second timeout, and Mike, things have really improved for the Dolphins here in the second quarter. A bit of a slow finish to quarter number one. What changed in the start of quarter number two?
Well, you know, the Dolphins got both Tadero and Rosa Perone out on the floor, and Perone's hit her last couple of shots, and Diana Tadero now has 11 points in this game, including 9 points here in the second quarter, and she's been very effective shooting and rebounding the basketball for the Dolphins. And, you know, Jackie Callie is probably having her best offensive output of the season, and certainly her most efficient output of the season for the Dolphins as well. So the Dolphins doing a great job. They've already scored 45 points, which is a nice amount of points with a minute 32 left in the first half. But more importantly for this CSI Dolphin team, playing very good defense, rebounding the basketball very well.
And you got to look at a couple of Jackie Callie highlights following that last timeout. Callie's gotten it done from inside and out. We've seen her attack the rim aggressively and finish strong. Also knocked down a three-pointer on her first shot attempt of the game. And with that rebound, she now has 6 boards to go along with her 10 points. That pass a bit ahead of Mbesi, finds its way back to Callie, and now Rosa Perone. Perone flips it up, no good, grabs her own rebound, throws it up again in some traffic and off balance. And that ball will find its way out of bounds. Possession to John Jay with 1:01 remaining in the first half.
And, you know, you look out on the floor, Joe, and you just look at this Dolphin team with Schmitter and Perone, both over 6 feet out on the floor. And, you know, Jackie Callie, another player with size for the Dolphins, and Nicole Mbesi, really a tenacious defender for the Dolphins. So a good, balanced Dolphin team defensively out on the floor right now.
Well, we're starting to see John Jay force the issue a bit from the outside as Callie is a wide-open three. And that's off front rim, no good. Rebound, Perone, and that's put back up and in. Dolphins dominating the offensive glass in this first half. I'll get that tally in just a few moments, but CSI all over the offensive boards.
Yeah, and basically you have 20 rebounds a game on the bench for the Bloodhounds with Howard and Albright, and the Dolphins taking advantage of that.
That last offensive rebound made 9 for CSI. As right there, it's the Bloodhounds coming away with an offensive board. They have last shot if they want it. Kickball is the call, and 8-second chance points for the Dolphins as well as you get another look at that Perone offensive board and put back.
Yeah, Dolphins have shown the ability to do that all season long, Joe. They rebound the ball very effectively, and, you know, with the size of their players, they should be real effective throughout the QDAC conference, and, you know, much better rebounding than they have been in the last couple of years.
5 seconds to go. Healy drives against Schmitter and draws the foul with 1 second remaining in the half. So Katie Healy will go to the line for John Jay. A chance to cut the Dolphins' lead back down to 21, but no matter how you look at it, a fantastic second quarter for the College of Staten Island.
And Schmitter will pick up the foul. So for Kayla, that'll be her first. So a couple of free throws here coming up for Katie Healy as she hits the first.
Not only an advantage, I shouldn't say a big advantage, but an advantage nonetheless in second chance points for the Dolphins, 8-6 in favor of CSI, now 8-7 in that department with that last free throw as Healy converts 2 of 2 from the line. It'd be the first time the Bloodhounds have done that. And with that pair of free throws, the first half comes to a close. Dolphins leading the Bloodhounds 47-26 at halftime. 15 points off turnovers for the Dolphins in that first half, 16 on the fast break. CSI also dominating in the rebound department, especially on the offensive glass. Mike, any final takeaways from the first half?
Yeah, you know, you got to really like the way the Dolphins came out and played in that first half. They outscored the Bloodhounds 22-10 in that second quarter and go into halftime with a 21-point lead. So good first half for the Dolphins.
Dolphins shoot the ball well and will take a 21-point lead into halftime. Our score at the half, Dolphins 47, Bloodhounds 26. I'm not sure if we're trying to wave down a guest, and instead we will take it to break. Oh, not yet. So we'll stay with you and see if Dave can secure us a guest for halftime. And he's trying to wave him down, but Mike, Dolphins with a 21-point lead at the half. They shot nearly 45% from the field in that first half, hit 2 of their 6 three-pointers as well, and you get a look at the rebounding numbers. Dolphins ahead in that department, 26-21. So not as distinct an advantage as the second chance point stat would indicate for CSI in that first half. As it looks like Nicole Sarcone will join us for the first time this season, I believe, as we'll get that third mic up and running.
How does this work? Oh yeah, it was backwards. Go ahead.
And we're joined by Dolphins head basketball coach Nicole Sarcone. Coach, thanks for joining us. In that second quarter, your team really seized control of this game beyond the first quarter. What did you see that changed out there on the floor in quarter number 2?
I think we looked to transition a little bit more, and we got some stops on the press. And can you hear it? Okay. Also, you know, we weren't going to work in the post. I told Di they can't guard you in the post, and I think she started to get a little bit of confidence, and we realized we can push and do what we want on offense if we're disciplined enough to do it.
You know, Coach, the team has come out and played very well throughout the first 6 games. You've won 4 out of the first 6 games. Getting into conference play, any difference between coaching in conference and out of conference?
For me, not so much. I think for the girls, you could see in our CCNY game, they come out with a little bit more energy, and it must mean more to them, and it does mean more. But I think for us, too, I've been telling them, let's send a message, because teams have been counting us out since before the season even started because of what we lost with graduation. But I told them to take that as kind of a slap in the face and use it as motivation. That's
Dolphins head basketball coach Nicole Sarcone. Nicole, thanks for joining us. Best of luck in the second half.
Thank you.
All right, our score at halftime, once again, the Dolphins 47, the Bloodhounds 26. Dolphins take a 21-point lead into half number 2. When we come back, we will have analysis of the first half and coverage of the second half of this CUNYAC conference matchup between the Dolphins and Bloodhounds.
I, Krista, take you, Jamie, to be my wife.
The ceremony was a blast. It was just like this surreal moment of my dreams are coming true. When we found out that we were pregnant, we were just elated. We were just sitting there waiting for the pediatrician. She said, "Oh, I apologize. She won't be taking you in as a client." We are a lesbian couple, but she's just a baby. She's the one you're denying the service to. And sitting there in that small, cold room, I wanted to cry, just thinking, what did we bring this kid into? We're simply asking to treat our family the same way that you would treat any family.
They said I couldn't dream. Called me a piece of trash and swore that's all I'd ever be. Said a bottle couldn't see the ocean. Give up. Go back to the dumpster. But I didn't listen. I made my way. And now, I am what I've always wanted to be. So we were walking to school. At the corner, we waited for the traffic light.
I started thinking about lunch. Mom pat me turkey and cheese.
She's
I really
smart,
want cheese pizza,
but
like at Luigi's.
sometimes her mind wanders.
They have this video game there, and Kate's got the high score. We should have a sleepover. Maybe I should pack my pajamas.
I remember saying, Laura? Laura?
I think I heard Mom say something.
The sign says don't walk.
Sometimes it's so overwhelming.
When we finally got there,
she gave me a hug goodbye.
I really hope she doesn't
I
have
really
another
hope I
bad
don't
day
have
at
another
school
bad day at
today.
school today.
When you can see learning and attention issues from their side, you can be on their side. That's why there's Understood.org, a free online resource for the parents of the 1 in 5 kids with learning and attention issues. Here you'll get personalized recommendations, practical tips, daily access to experts, and more. Go from misunderstanding to Understood.org.
Be right back. Hi! You think you're probably sober?
Yeah.
But you're thinking about taking the back roads home, just in case. If you're probably sober, then why would you do that? Good choice.
Probably okay isn't okay. If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend.
That's a full glass of wine. I'll be chatting you later.
What to expect when you're expecting a teenager.
Today we're talking about how to wake up your teen, and this works literally every time.
Good kisses. Good kisses. You heard how loud
I heard. It wasn't you. It was the...
Is that bacon?
You don't have to know it all to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just
retire like a champ, just like legendary basketball star Uncle Drew.
Don't do it like that, Uncle Drew.
You're already acing the game. You've got your dream ride.
Don't be slamming my door.
Sorry about
that. You just did the same.
Gotta get the boys.
Your dream vacation and your dream team. And now you can make your retirement just as legendary.
I get buckets.
Get the tips you need to get on track at aceyourretirement.org.
First time I tried Vicodin, it was laying around my mom's house. And then I kept taking them whenever I could get them. I didn't know they'd be this addictive. I didn't know how far I'd go to get more.
Opioid dependence can happen after just 5 days. Know the truth, spread the truth.
No doubt you're going places, young lady.
Thank you. And thank you for the interview as well. I can imagine it was the last thing that you wanted to do after such a long campaign meeting.
You really are a very intelligent young woman. You're very smooth.
You're very smooth yourself.
You have no idea.
Awkward. I'm the awkward silence. You try to avoid me, then there I am again. But an awkward silence can be a great thing, like Kelly here is about to demonstrate.
You haven't really been yourself lately. Are you okay?
Find out how you can help a friend with their mental health at seizetheawkward.org.
This
We're
is
back
why
here
you
at
took the
halftime
second
where
job.
the College of Staten Island leads John Jay by a score of 47
While you taught yourself how to fix the
26.
plumbing.
And looking at the first half statistics,
While you'll
the
do
College of
whatever it
Staten Island
takes
shooting
to keep your
17 of
home.
38 from the field,
that
including
is why we
2 of
wanna
6
help.
from the three-point line.
We are making
11
home affordable, a
15
free government
from the
resource
free
that can
throw
make paying
line.
the mortgage
A
easier.
good
Call
offensive stat line for the
888-995.
Dolphins in that first half.
This
As
is
we
why you took
look
the
at, we
second
see
job.
Joe Foreman on the far side of the floor. We're
While you
going to
taught
page
yourself how to
Joe
fix the plumbing.
to come over and join us here for the
While you'll do
halftime
whatever it
intermission.
takes
But
to
in
keep your
the
home.
meantime, the big
This is why you
story of the
took the
game
second job.
for the John Jay Bloodhounds is the fact that 2 of their
While you
best
taught
players,
yourself how to fix the plumbing.
Albright and Naisha Howard, both picking up their 3rd personal foul in those first halves. So Naisha limited to just over 12 minutes and Ayaya playing just under 12 minutes. As we take a look at the halftime team statistics, Dolphins shooting 45% from the field, 30% for the Bloodhounds, and Dolphins doing well from the three-point line, really shooting well from the free throw line, and the Dolphins also out-rebounding John Jay and forcing those 16 turnovers. And, you know, Joe, it's like we say all the time going back into the years that Tim Shanahan coached the team, and it's certainly been the case under first-year head coach Nicole Sarcone. When this team is playing good defense, it triggers everything else that they're looking to do.
Well, we mentioned in the pregame, this team would be looking to shoot a more efficient percentage overall from the field. They've done that. We mentioned that they'd like to shoot a bit better from outside as well, coming in shooting very poorly from three-point range on the season. Hit only 2 of 6 threes in that first half, but they didn't need more from beyond the arc in half number one. Really dominated this game, just about all aspects of play. They won the rebounding battle. They won the battle, or were winning the battle, in second chance points until very late in that first half before the Bloodhounds added a pair of free throws. And overall, the Dolphins really seizing complete control of this game in that second quarter. 16 fast break points to only 4 for John Jay. And John Jay was looking to run in that first half, looked to push the ball up the floor a bit, but the Dolphins simply weren't having any of it. They really had trouble inbounding the ball, did John Jay. And the Dolphins with 26 points in the paint. We heard Nicole Sarcone mention that she was happy to see her team looking inside, beginning more so in that second quarter, really working the ball into the paint, mentioning the matchup advantage for Diana Tadaro. I think the same sort of matchup advantage goes for Kayla Schmitter as well. So the Dolphins with a really good second quarter, seizing control of this game. As you get another look at more women's basketball updates from around the CUNYAC Conference, Hunter 61-50 over York in the fourth. Lehman also over Medgar Evers in the fourth quarter by 10. And Baruch trailing CCNY by 11 at the half. So that's your around the CUNYAC prior to the start of our second half. About 3 minutes to go before half number 2 from the tank.
And, you know, Joe, as you look at the CSI Dolphin team and, you know, you just try to sneak ahead a little bit and take a look at the schedule. First of all, tonight, of course, we have the second half of the doubleheader coming up as the men will take on John Jay's. We have a little bit of an opportunity to look at some opening first half highlights as you see Jackie Callie driving that one down the lane. And it was the start of a good first half for Jackie, Joe.
Yeah, she got off to a strong start, knocking down her first shot of the game from beyond the arc, but that stellar offensive play continued from there for Callie. Really was strong attacking the basket, especially in transition, but even in the half court, she was able to dribble around the perimeter and then work one-on-one against her defender to get in when her team needed her to do so. As you'll take a look at Brianna Rubisky driving in easily, and what you'll see in a lot of these highlights is the Dolphins getting the ball inside, scoring around the rim. Really not many jump shots for the Dolphins, especially in that second quarter, as Diana Tadaro with a nice catch and finish. We highlighted that play during the second quarter as well. And John Jay simply struggled to inbound the ball. The Dolphins had many more possessions in that first half than they would in a typical game, but the Bloodhounds were simply a mess turning the ball over, and it didn't get any better in the second quarter. As there you see Callie penetrating all the way from the perimeter to the paint in the half court, and then here in transition, she may have even gotten that rebound on that play right there and then took it all the way. We've seen Callie do good work on the boards in this game for the College of Staten Island as well. We've highlighted her scoring, but she did lead the team in rebounds in that first half with 6. A big part of that was Diana Tadaro getting into some foul trouble along with Rosa Perrone. Kayla Schmitter also contributed 4 rebounds off the bench as well. And looking at the Dolphins stats, 4 Dolphins with at least 4 rebounds in that game. Tadaro, Callie, Mbesi, and Schmitter. So good work on the boards by the Dolphins as well, on top of their good work at the offensive end of the floor.
Yeah, and, you know, the Dolphins, you know, really have opened themselves up. They have a 21-point lead here in the second half, and, you know, a couple of Bloodhound players in foul trouble, and, you know, both Albright and Howard have to be careful here in the second half, Joe. And if I'm the CSI Dolphins and those 2 players come out on the floor, I'm going to try to back my players out and send the player in and try to post up 1 or 2 of those plays and see if I can pick up a quick 4th personal here early in the third quarter.
And that's a great point, Mike. You mentioned the pair of Albright and Howard with 3 fouls each. Also another pair of Bloodhounds with 2 fouls, Rakitsis and Lalone, and all of those players key for John Jay if they're going to make a comeback in this game. And it's very tough to envision them doing so the way the Dolphins played in that second quarter, but still plenty of time left. If the Dolphins could build a 21-point lead in a half, there's no reason to believe that John Jay can't make up that deficit should they begin to take care of the basketball. And, of course, our next broadcast is coming up next. It is men's basketball taking on John Jay College. Approximate tip-off time, 7:35 p.m. That could vary depending on when this game concludes, as we are now ready to start the second half. John Jay will inbound first right in front of us. Dolphins leading by 21 at the start of half number 2. Taking a look out on the floor, we'll see if it's the same starters for both sides. I think for John Jay it is. It is indeed the same 5 that started the game. Albright, Howard, Rakitsis, Martyr, and Lalone. For the Dolphins, McEwen, Callie, Mbesi, Tadaro, and Perrone. Same starting 5 for CSI as well.
Dolphins will have one more conference game before the Christmas holiday vacation. That will be this Friday night against Medgar Evers. Those games will take place in Brooklyn.
Following tonight's doubleheader, we will not be back on the air with basketball for quite some time. I believe our next scheduled broadcast, December 28th, day 1 of 2, Tournament of Heroes, an annual event here from the College of Staten Island, as the first Bloodhounds shot of the half, up and no good, taken by Madison alone from mid-range. Dolphins move out quickly off of the rebound. Ball finds its way to Perone inside, and she makes a great pass to Tadaro, immediately recognizing that double team and finding her open teammate.
Yeah, Rose's first assist of the game. The Dolphins now with 12 assists on their 18 baskets.
Dolphins making it look easy offensively since the start of the second quarter as Rakitsas fires a deep two-pointer. We've seen many of those easily the lowest percentage shots in the game of basketball, a deep two-point jump shot. As that's a mid-range jump shot, and Rosa Perone knocks it down.
Yeah, second outside shot Rosa's hit tonight. She's got 8. Despite her early foul trouble, Dolphins lead is 25.
And Rose has been more and more adept from mid-range on the jump shot so far this season, and it's been a weapon added to her offensive repertoire that has certainly expanded so far this season. Dolphins now lead by 25, their biggest lead of the game. They look to slow it down a bit here, as it is Mbesi dribbling well beyond the arc. She gives it up to Tadaro. Tadaro over to Perone, another mid-range jump shot from Perone off the back rim, no good. Rebound by Nicole Mbesi, who weaves her way inside and finishes.
You know, Nicole's been a player her entire career who's been a great defender and a good rebounder. Nice basket for her. She's got 6.
Bounce pass toward the right baseline, stolen by the Dolphins, and now a fight for it. That's between Martyr and McEwen, and on the jump ball, possession will go to CSI.
Yeah, Dolphins coming out and playing well here to start the second half, as they've scored the first 6 points and now lead 53-26.
Certainly not the start John Jay was looking for to begin this second half. As down goes Lalone, working against McEwen. That opens up Callie in the right corner, and there's another offensive rebound for the Dolphins. Rosa Perone right there with the putback once again.
Yeah, so Perone now has 10. Dolphins with 3 players out on the floor with double digits.
Here comes Howard. Good pass inside to Lalone, and that's another routine layup missed by John Jay as that pass from Howard wide of the intended target. Martyr out of bounds, Dolphins ball.
There are a couple of nice plays by Howard, but after a rebound, her pass goes out of bounds, so Dolphin ball with their biggest lead.
Well, that's a mess of a sequence if you're John Jay, as Megan McEwen goes coast to coast off the inbound, can't finish, then goes up aggressively in traffic, and that shot no good. Howard gets by Perone, bounce pass inside to Lalone, right back to Howard. That one nearly ate up Rakitsas. That was a bullet thrown to her from Howard. Standing right by one another, but off the miss. John Jay comes away with the offensive board. And that was Albright working against Mbesi. And the foul is called against Nicole Mbesi.
So Nicole will pick up the personal foul, and for Nicole, that's going to be her 3rd. First foul for the Dolphins, so the Bloodhounds will inbound the basketball with a fresh 30-second shot clock.
We mentioned the inordinate number of fouls called in that first half. Both teams spending a lot of time at the free throw line, as Albright once again attempting a deep 2-point jump shot, and that one no good. I'm not sure John Jay has connected on more than one of those so far in this game, but they've attempted quite a few, as they will call timeout, and it is a full timeout. So we'll step aside for just about a minute, or maybe not, as I'm being told to stay on here through the full timeout.
Sorry, Joe, let's keep it right here. But, you know, another good start for the Dolphins here. They've come out. They played the first 3 minutes here in the third quarter. The Bloodhounds have yet to be able to score. Dolphins outscoring John Jay 8-0 and really blowing this game open here, Joe, early in the third quarter.
And it's been stifling Dolphins defense throughout this game, but especially to start this third quarter, forcing John Jay to settle for those deep 2-pointers. Not easy shots to connect on, especially when the defense is closing in. And if you're the Dolphins, you'll continue to allow John Jay to take shots from that range because they simply haven't been going down, and the Dolphins at the offensive end getting it done with a shooting percentage just shy of 46% thus far. Certainly a number that Nicole Sarcone has to be happy with. Many of those shots they've taken so far in this game coming on the inside, and that's a big reason for the increased shooting percentage for this Dolphins team. Haven't needed to shoot much from beyond the arc, and I'm sure they like to keep it that way. They've also been efficient from the free throw line, 11 of 15.
Yeah, you know, Joe, you either want to pound it inside or shoot it from outside the arc, and Dolphins have been doing a nice job getting the ball inside.
Well, with the number of turnovers committed by John Jay, it's unlikely the Dolphins would need many three-pointers to remain in front in this one, as there's a three-point attempt, a wide-open three-point attempt by Jackie Callie, who gets the bounce. Dolphins lead now 32, as this game has clearly gotten away from John Jay. And on the offensive rebound, it's Albright, and that just about sums up the way things have gone for the Bloodhounds. An easy opportunity off the offensive board from point-blank range, and Albright could not convert.
Yeah, Bloodhounds still unable to score here in the third quarter.
And another great pass inside. Rosa Perone standing down there all alone, and the Dolphins have done a great job finding the open player underneath the rim whenever the opportunity has presented itself, and that's resulted in a very efficient offensive game and a lot of quick, easy baskets. As finally John Jay knocks down a three-pointer. That is their second three of the game. It's Lily Rakitsas from the corner.
Yeah, Rakitsas finally breaks the scoring drought for the Bloodhounds, as Tadero will now draw the foul.
I believe that's the first foul call against John Jay in the half. It is. Laha Albright picks up her fourth.
And that's the danger with those three personal fouls, Joe, and now she picks up an early fourth. And, you know, with the score 60-29, I'm not even sure it's worth pulling her out, Joe. You might as well try to see if you can keep her on the floor and see if she can play with the four fouls, but she will come out of the game.
First free throw from Tadaro, no good. It will be Katie Healy checking in to replace Albright, who has the four fouls.
Diana now 1 of 2 from the line.
Make it 2 of 3 as the Dolphins lead is back up to 32. They're still pressuring the inbound and exerting full court pressure. It's a 2-on-1 beyond half court, but John Jay just not looking to get the ball across that half court line quickly enough, as nearly losing the ball there was Howard. And that's a wild shot there by Healy. And that's about 2 feet short of reaching the rim, and ball goes out of bounds. Dolphins possession. But I've said it before, Mike, if you have 2 players working against one, and in some cases 1 player underneath the rim against none, and you're John Jay, you have to find a way to get the ball across half court, and they haven't been able to do that.
Yeah, Dolphins have done a nice job, and the Bloodhounds have been unable to solve this Dolphin defense, as McEwen will get called for the travel.
Still a good job there by the Dolphins working the ball around. They began to limit their turnovers much more effectively later in that second quarter. Both teams had turnover issues in quarter number 1. Dolphins still shy of double-digit turnovers. That last one there was number 9, and Bloodhounds have them doubled up in that department with 18 as Callie commits the foul on Howard.
Yeah, so for Jackie, that'll be her first and the team's second, so the Bloodhounds will inbound from the side court.
Here comes Howard, working against Mbesi. Howard, three-point shot off the dribble, nothing but air, and Dolphins will possess it once again. And John Jay simply not moving the ball well right now, not getting quality open looks, and it has been a rough go of it for Linda Day's team so far in this second half.
Yeah, you know, if you're the Bloodhounds at this point, Joe, you really got to look at things possession by possession and just try to get good shots on each possession.
Perone way short on that mid-range attempt. Bloodhounds may have gotten a piece of it. Here comes Howard all alone on the fast break, and she converts. And the way this game has gone for John Jay, we've seen a couple of those come up short as the Bloodhounds cut Dolphins lead back down to 30, but it appears as if the Dolphins will be able to cruise to the finish in this one, courtesy of a red-hot start to this second half and a strong finish to the first half as well.
Joe, just taking a little bit of a look ahead at the Dolphins schedule here. They'll play Medgar Evers, their final conference game of the year. and then they'll finish with 4 non-conference games, and then the remainder of their schedule all through mid-February, Joe, all in the conference.
So it will be a busy 2 months for the Dolphins in January and February. A lot of important games to be played, and this is the first of those important games here at home, and the last for quite some time until I believe it's December 30th. That's a non-conference matchup against Centenary here at the Tank, a 1 p.m. start.
And, you know, Joe, we should also mention before that game on December 21st, the Dolphins will travel down the highway a little bit and play Wagner in the Battle of the Borough. And, you know, that's always a good game, and this CSI women's team has given Wagner all they wanted in the last couple of years, and really looking forward to that game this year as well.
Well, there's a good pass by Howard and a wide open shot for Martier that comes up empty. Nothing but air on that one. And that game against Wagner played here last year, very close game. Dolphins fell after leading in the 4th quarter, but that was one of the most high-energy games that we covered last year. This place was packed. We had a band on hand, positioned behind that Wagner bench, a bit of a strategic placement of that band on hand here at the Tank, but a great game for both sides and a very entertaining game for us to cover. Unfortunately for the Dolphins, they came up short as there's a collision between Howard and Perrone.
And I think Rosa will probably pick up the block, and she will, as Rosa picks up her 3rd personal, and that'll be the team's 3rd. So the Bloodhounds will inbound the basketball. Glad to see both players get up, Joe. Very hard collision on the play.
Well, you see a player take a fall like that, and you wonder at what point do you get your starters off the floor and put to end any risk of sustaining an injury. And that's Rakitsas from the corner once again, her 2nd corner 3-pointer of quarter number 3. Dolphins swing it around the perimeter to Callie, inside to Tadaro. And Tadaro unable to maintain that pivot. It looked like she might have been able to keep it down, but you're going to see that travel called more often than not, as it is a full timeout called by the Dolphins. And it looks like we are going to break. I had a double check with the other end of the table, but we indeed will step aside for about a minute and take a break. Our score, Dolphins 62, Bloodhounds 34. Big lead for CSI in quarter number 3 of this, our first CUNYAC Conference matchup of the year. We'll be right back with more women's basketball.
This is the story of a boy who is very sensitive to lights and sounds. So he built secret hiding places where nothing could get in. The boy didn't like looking people in the eye. It made him feel uncomfortable. One day, he found out he had something called autism. His family got him help, and slowly, he learned how to live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
This is the story of a boy who is very sensitive to lights and sounds. So he built secret hiding places where nothing could get in. The boy didn't like looking.
And we're back from the Tank. Dolphins leading by 28, with 3.5 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter. Enjoyed my pretzel a few seconds too long and tried to wrap that up in time. Failed to do so.
You know, Joe, if you're the Dolphins here, you got a big lead. You don't want to let the Bloodhounds get back in the game. You want to continue to play defense and get some good offensive possessions. Is going to have another foul called on the Dolphins, and that's going to be their 4th team foul. And if that's on Perrone, that will be her 4th personal as well.
Well, Perrone upset with the call. That will likely relegate her to the bench, at least not right now. I should say not right now, as it is Kayla Schmitter who gets up off the Dolphins bench. So once we have a whistle, Perrone will check out, and she won't get a chance to do so as she picks up foul number 5.
Yeah, you know, Joe, that, you know, we talked about that all year long, and, you know, the importance of being able to come out and play on the floor. And there was a possession, Joe, where she was coming out at the next whistle, and, you know, you really got to know the situation in that kind of case, Joe, and not commit the foul. And, you know, she reached in, and now she'll be out of the game. And, you know, it was really, you know, once again, a foul that, you know, you're really not looking for. Is head coach Nicole Saccone speaking to Rosa about it right now.
Well, she picked up 3 quick fouls consecutively right there and really didn't give Sarcone a chance to get her out of there, especially with that last one, as Schmitter was ready to check in, and Albright hits a pair. Dolphins' lead is 26 late in the third, 3 minutes to go in quarter number 3. Since the start of the second, it's been all Dolphins. Tadaro works inside against 3 defenders and is stripped from behind. And that's a tough blocking foul called against the Dolphins. And
yeah, that's going to be a foul on McCune, as the Dolphins now starting to accumulate fouls and, starting to open the door a little bit for the Bloodhounds, as, it will be another free throw opportunity here for the Bloodhounds, and they hit the first.
So many fouls committed in this game that our graphic is beginning to have some trouble containing them. That was, I believe, free throws 17 and 18 for John Jay. Dolphins also with a near 20 free throw attempts. They have 19, as McEwen's jump shot is no good off the back rim. Rebounded by Rakitsis.
And a big couple of 2.5 minutes here for the Bloodhounds. They can get themselves right back in the game.
And that shot by Albright is short. It'll be Dolphins' ball. Taking a look at some of the personal foul tallies for John Jay, Albright, Howard, 4 each. Malone with 3, Rakitsis with a pair. She hasn't committed a foul yet in this third quarter. And for the Dolphins, Rosa Perone has already fouled out with 5. Colin Bessie also has 3, but Diana Tadaro, to her credit, has been able to stay out of foul trouble after picking up a couple of early fouls. And Nicole Bessie's shot driving down the right side of the lane, no good.
Yeah, the Dolphins have gone ice cold, Joe, from the floor. They haven't scored for a while, and now the Bloodhounds have cut the lead down to 21. And the Dolphins need to find a way to start getting their offense back in gear, and that's a good way to do it.
And how many times have the Bloodhounds allowed that easy entry pass to a wide open player underneath the rim? That time it's Tadaro. We saw Rosa Perone pick that spot several times and stand there wide open, in some cases for several seconds. Of course, before the ball crosses half court, but even then, can't allow a player to stand wide open underneath the rim. And there's a wide open jump shot for John Jay, and another air ball for the Bloodhounds, who've begun to move the ball a little bit better and get some better looks, but they're going to need to be significantly better if they're going to get back in this.
Yeah, they have played better here the last few minutes, Joe, and the Dolphin lead has been cut down to as low as 22. So a nice job by the Bloodhounds. Possession coming up here for the Dolphins.
Well, I think if John Jay wants any thoughts of a potential comeback, they need at least a pair of baskets here without allowing another in this quarter. And Howard will look to score one quickly as she pushes it once again. That's Lipton driving baseline. Attempted reverse layup, no good. Rebounded by Schmitter. Perhaps Bloodhounds looking for a 2-for-1 opportunity with that last shot. They really pushed the ball up the floor quickly and took a tough one, as that's Schmitter drawing the foul inside. Charged with the foul was Katie Healy.
Yeah, that'll be the second for Healy in the 4th team foul, but Schmitter was shooting, so she'll go to the free throw line to shoot 2.
Schmitter's first free throw is good. Dolphins continue their stellar free throw shooting in this game. That's 14 of 20 with that last make. That's short to the right. Dolphins lead is 24. Bloodhounds beginning to enter desperation mode, as that shot's not even close. Nothing but backboard on that 3-point attempt from the top of the arc. Dolphins running in transition, and an easy layup once again. This time it's Brianna Rubisky from Devin Mooney.
Yeah, nice pass by Mooney, picking her head up, seeing Rubisky, who laid it up and in, and the Dolphins open the lead back to 26.
Dolphins continuing to pile on the fast break points as well. 22 of those in this game. As Rakitsis attempts the 3, it's no good. Rebound by Mooney. She looks up at the clock, sees how much time she has. She will be sure the Dolphins get the last shot, but May not be a good one. Oh. Mooney definitely knew how much time was left. She looked up at the clock, or at least I thought so.
Yeah, you know, it almost doesn't seem like she did, Joe, but Dolphins did a nice job. The Bloodhounds made a nice run at them. Nice job by the Dolphins to close the quarter up 26.
Dolphins, strong third quarter on top of a strong first half, earned themselves a 26-point lead entering quarter number 4. When we come back, the final quarter between the Dolphins and Bloodhounds, Dolphins by 26 entering the 4th.
Don't worry, 74 people were picked before me in the NFL draft.
To fight childhood obesity, United Way and the NFL are helping kids play at least 60 minutes a day.
Okay, time for the team obstacle course. Yay!
What this place needs is more healthy kids. To get involved or donate, go to unitedway.org/play60.
Now I get it.
Give it back!
They'll test you. Try to break your will. But however loud the loudness gets, however many cheese puffs may fly, you're the driver, the one in control. Stand firm. Just wait. And move only when you hear the click that says they're buckled in for the drive. Never give up till they buckle up.
And we're back from the tank. Dolphins leading by 26 points at the start of the 4th quarter. CSI dominating the first half and once again winning the 3rd quarter to extend their lead slightly heading into the final quarter of play.
Yeah, nice job being done by the Dolphins after the Bloodhounds cut the lead down to 22 to go into the 4th quarter up by 26.
It's Lipton swinging it up from the corner to the right wing. Howard over to Rakitsis. Kick out to Howard. She thought about the 3. Instead will drive and float one up, and Howard draws the foul.
So that's going to be on Schmitter. So Schmitter picks up her 2nd. Quick first team foul for the Dolphins here in the 4th quarter. And, you know, Joe, if you're the Dolphins, the last thing you want to do is put the Bloodhounds on the free throw line.
You're absolutely right, Mike, but we've seen both teams frequent the free throw line. It's hurt John Jay as the Dolphins continue to extend their lead. But fortunately for CSI, despite committing quite a few fouls in that first half, that did not come back to bite them in this game as they were the far more efficient offensive team, a much stronger offensive effort from CSI than from John Jay in this one. As Elena DeMontro will get her first action. She swings it down to the corner for Rybisky. Back up top right wing, it's Schmitter. Todaro surveys the floor from the right corner and finds an open Brianna Rybisky. Left corner 3. And that's too long, but yet another Dolphins offensive rebound. This time it's Diana Todaro who puts it back up and in.
Yeah, Todaro now leading the Dolphins in scoring with 18 points here tonight.
Strong effort from Todaro on the offensive glass. Many of her points coming on putbacks, but I'm sure her teammates and coaching staff have no complaints about that. As Nyasha Howard able to convert there inside, and once again a leaking Dolphins player on the left side of the paint. That's been where that opening has been found throughout this game. It's been either Schmitter, Perrone, or Todaro running the floor ahead of the Bloodhounds defense, getting underneath on the left side of the basket and easily laying it up and in. As it's Devin Mooney looking to push the ball ahead. She finds DeMontro. Left wing 3 is up and good. And Elena DeMontro quickly scores her first points of the game off the bench.
Yeah, it's nice to see Elena come in and hit a big 3-pointer for the Dolphins. She now has 4.
Dolphins lead back up to 27. About 8:15 to go in the 4th quarter. Rakitsis on the drive, and she is stifled inside. Possession will stay with the Bloodhounds as we will have a John Jay substitution. It will be Madison Lalone checking in, replacing Lily Rakitsis.
As Todaro picks up her first block of the night for the Dolphins. Nice defensive play by Diana. She's really had a strong all-around game for the Dolphins after picking up 2 early fouls in the first quarter.
There's another John Jay turnover. It's number 19. Dolphins will run their half-court offense here. Probably see a bit more of this down the stretch with the team leading by 27. It's Schmitter surveying the floor. Rybisky pass inside to Todaro, who puts up the hook shot, and it's rebounded by Albright over Rybisky, and Albright will slow it down and give it up to Howard. Howard signaling her teammates perhaps to run a play. She's now looking around and finds Albright in the corner. Albright drives to her left and is met by Mooney, along with Rybisky, who was defending her all the way from the perimeter in. And the foul was charged, I believe, to Mooney. Nope, Rybisky. So Rybisky will pick up her second as Hunter has really broken things open against York and closed that game, I should say, against York with a big 32-point win.
Yeah, Hunter pulls away and closes that one out early. York did a nice job sticking around. And look at that one, Joe, is, Lehman rebuilding their program after a couple of successful years. Hold on to beat Medgar Evers by 1.
A close game between the Cougars and Lightning. Not so close between Hawks and Cardinals. And another game here that's not so close. Dolphins' huge lead over John Jay in the fourth quarter as the Dolphins swing the ball around nicely, and they were a pass away from an uncontested three, perhaps a clean catch away from a Tadaro layup, but the ball off the fingertips of Rybisky, the intended recipient of that pass from Tadaro. Pass a bit off target.
So Medgar Evers will still be looking for their first win of the season as they drop to 0-2 in the conference. They'll be the Dolphins' next opponent, Joe, this Friday night.
Lipton working against Mooney, nearly turned it over, looking to give it back to Howard. And that's a wild pass, stolen by Mooney. She's ahead of the field. Howard giving chase from the left side, and Mooney's layup is up and good.
Yeah, nice play that time by Howard. No reason to pick up your 5th personal. Stay out on the floor and keep playing.
Certainly competitor wanting to be out there with her team for the remainder of this one, even if the outcome is no longer in question. And that's another Dolphins foul. This time, it's Devin Mooney who picks up the foul. It's her first.
Yeah, that time Lipton taking it to the basket stronger as we have an opportunity to look at the Mooney steal as she takes it 3/4 of the court and drives it down the lane. But, this will be free throws 5 and 6 for the Bloodhounds here in this fourth quarter, Joe. Dolphins commit 3 personal fouls, all in the act of shooting.
Off the missed free throw, John Jay was able to come up with the rebound. That was Gorman who grabbed it, was then harassed into the corner, nearly threw it away, but the Dolphins, the team that deflected it out of bounds, so possession will stay with John Jay. Howard looking to inbound to Albright, and that pass didn't clear Diana Tadaro. Tadaro with the around the back, drawing a nice reaction from the crowd. It's about as into this game as you'll see the crowd get late in this fourth quarter. Dolphins with a big lead. And once again inside, it's Kayla Schmitter. She now has 10.
Yeah, so Schmitter hits double digits for the Dolphins now, Joe, as the Dolphins have 4 players in double digits.
Dolphins with 76 points in this game, 44 of them coming inside. There's 2 of those right there. Points 43 and 44. In the paint also for the Dolphins in this one, 14 points from the free throw line. So for the Dolphins, that is 58 of 76 points coming in the paint or from the charity stripe. And that's a good way to maintain efficient scoring for 4 quarters. Dolphins have done just that as they turn the ball over there. John Jay unable to capitalize. Good fast break defense by the Dolphins. You have to like seeing that with a big lead. 3 players getting back there, defending that transition opportunity as Schmitter picks up the foul.
Boy, that looked like a lot of ball on that play, Joe, but Kayla's going to pick up her 3rd personal foul on the play. And once again, the Bloodhounds will go to the free throw line here as Dolphins pick up their 4th personal, I should say, with the Bloodhounds in the act of shooting here in the fourth quarter. We have an opportunity to take a look at that replay there, and
that's a tough call.
It is, and boy, I got to tell you, Joe, there's nothing harder than trying to officiate a basketball game. There really isn't.
Dolphins lead is 26, 5:22 to go in the game. Dolphins work it around the perimeter. Rybisky inside to Schmitter, and her shot is short on the turnaround jumper. Howard pull up in transition, and don't think she called glass on that one, Mike, but she will certainly take it as it's been a struggle offensively for Nyasha Howard.
Yeah, so the Bloodhounds trying to work their way back in the game as they've scored 11 points already here in the fourth quarter.
Here comes DeMontro on the drive. Kick out to Schmitter, who thought about the three. Instead, looks to move toward the rim. And nice up and under move there. Step through, but Schmitter couldn't finish. A tough shot as Rubisky and Healy fight forward in the corner. Rubisky able to find Mooney, who nearly lost possession. Working against Martyr. Wide open in the corner. It's Elena DeMontro for three, and her shot too long from the corner. Here comes Nyasha Howard. Pulls up once again, and that's more indicative of the game she's had offensively. It's been really tough for Howard so far tonight. With that last shot, she falls to 4 of 13 from the field. Three Dolphins entering the game, and you can see them all on your screen right now. Jackie Calley enters for CSI, along with Megan McEwen. And also entering the game for CSI, number 21, Lola Plamenko, seeing her first action of the night. And that attempted pass by Callie stifled by Rakitsis, and Callie had nowhere to go with it once she gained the ball back. Looked like she thought she may be called for traveling.
I think she thought that the Bloodhounds touched it last, but it will be John Jay ball.
Good pass inside to Howard, and more easy looks like that certainly would have benefited this John Jay team. CSI certainly has made it difficult for them, and that's one of the best looking passes and finishes we've seen from the Bloodhounds tonight.
Yeah, absolutely, Joe.
Schmitter out to McEwen, wide open for three, and she knocks it down from the right wing.
You know, Joe, that's Megan's first basket from the floor here so far tonight. A big three-pointer for Megan.
McEwen still managing to contribute despite just connecting on her first field goal. She's gotten it done from the free throw line. Has knocked down 6 of 8 from there. She's also added 3 rebounds and 5 assists. Most importantly, she's been able to stay out on the floor in a game where many players have been plagued by foul trouble, and Lena Bitar will check in for the Dolphins. That last substitution for CSI coming with 3:27 to go in the game.
Then, you know, an opportunity for these players, Joe, for Bitar and for Plamenko to get some playing time and try to impress head coach Nicole Sarcone. You know, it's been a team that's played very well all year, and, you know, if you get an opportunity to play, you're going to want to put your best foot forward, even in a game where you're up 25 with 3:27 to go. As we had a quick look at that Baruch score flash up as Baruch remains down by 7, 58-51 in the fourth quarter.
What's important to note, too, this John Jay Bloodhounds team came in having won 4 straight games. That streak will certainly come to an end as Howard grabs the offensive rebound, and all of a sudden, Nyasha Howard beginning to pile on some points.
She's up to 17 now, Joe.
Bloodhounds have been just about even in this fourth quarter. I believe they're actually winning the quarter as Callie's 3 rolls off the rim, no good, but Bitar comes away with the offensive board. McEwen floats one up, no good. Dolphins continue to dominate on the offensive glass, and it's Kayla Schmitter using her size, and there is simply no size on this Bloodhounds team to rival her inside on the rebounds.
Yeah, you know, she's a tough player, and you have to be very optimistic and excited watching her play for the Dolphins here in her first 7 games.
Good entry pass to Albright from Rakitsis, and the finish inside by Albright will bring her scoring total into double digits. She now has 11 as jump ball is called and possession will stay with the Dolphins. We did mention coming in for John Jay as I try to pull up those individual stats. It was Alaha Albright leading the way with over 18 points a game. Nyasha Howard with 12.8 of her own, and though Howard has finally gotten her points here in this fourth quarter especially, the Dolphins did a great job slowing them down offensively while at the same time keeping them in foul trouble as well.
So Watson checks into the game for the Dolphins as well now, along with Mooney.
For the Dolphins, it is all reserves except for Nicole and Bessie coming in along with Watson, replacing McEwen and Schmitter, as we're now under 2 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter. Entry pass to Bitar, and Bitar converts. count the basket, and Batar will go to the line for one more. So Lena Batar making an impact immediately after coming in off the bench. An offensive rebound a couple of possessions ago, and there converts on the basket through the foul.
Nice. I'm sorry, Joe. Nice play that time by Lena. You see the smile on her face. Is, you know, a nice passing play by the Dolphins to get the basket as we wind down the final minute and 41 seconds here. And, of course, immediately following this game, we'll be off the air for a couple of minutes, Joe, but then you and I will be back to bring you the exciting men's game between these same two teams.
It will be the first time I've covered the men on Sportsnet this year. I'm certainly excited about it. You got to cover them against Montclair, and what was an exciting game. As Watson is ahead of the field, and she can't convert on the layup, but once again the Dolphins getting out ahead of that Bloodhounds defense, and Dolphins not taking their foot off the gas pedal despite a big fourth quarter lead. John Jay is winning this quarter by a single point, as driving in and drawing the foul there was one of the recently entered substitutions for John Jay. That's Christiane Perez. Along with Perez checking in for the first time was Bacina Jean-Pierre. I believe there was one more sub. It was Jaless Williams, number 50, also checking in.
As Mooney picks up the foul for the Dolphins, Joe, that'll be her second. The Dolphins over the limit now for the final minute and 13 seconds. And for the CSI Dolphins, Tracy Simon checking into the game as well.
Mooney bringing the ball up, and should mention Brianna Sierra, a fourth Bloodhound substitution that checked in at that last horn. So John Jay emptying the bench as we enter the final minute of the fourth quarter. Dolphins leading big, and
something's going on with the clock there, Joe, so they're just going to reset it, and then we'll be back in action as we're under a minute to go here in the game as the officials trying to figure out exactly where the shot clock should be.
Well, we certainly can't help with that, but Mike, a big 25-point lead for the Dolphins in this game. A strong effort from CSI, start to finish, but especially beginning in that second quarter. They've done a great job scoring the ball efficiently inside and have shot an efficient percentage from the field. I've said it time and time again. And entering this game, they were looking to shoot the ball a bit better, but defensively as well, playing stellar defense throughout this game. And despite allowing nearly 60 points, that's a product of the pace of play more so than poor defense.
Yeah, you know, the Dolphins have done a very good job here this afternoon. You mentioned, Joe, as the Dolphins will turn the ball over on the 5-second violation, but you mentioned John Jay coming in as a hot club, a club playing with confidence, having won 4 games in a row, and a nice job by the Dolphins to come out, take the lead after the first quarter, and, you know, really never look back from that point forward. Here tonight is, you know, the Bloodhounds were really only able to go out, you know, score that first point of the game, take a lead, but it's really been all Dolphins here tonight. Nice job defensively, good balanced scoring attack, and, you know, a nice win for their second conference win in a row.
And off the offensive rebound opportunity, Bloodhounds scrambling to maintain possession. Instead, a backcourt violation is called, and John Jay, a team that came in averaging about 62.3. They may not reach that mark. Dolphins on the season allowing about 54 points per game. But as I said, 58 allowed in this one. Not a product of the Dolphins defense, more so the pace of play. It certainly could have been a much bigger lead as you get a look there. A 2-point lead for Baruch over CCNY in the fourth quarter of that game. And Batar, 1 minute remaining in that one, I'm being told. So that game coming down to the wire.
And that was a game, Joe, that CCNY has really led the whole way. And, you know, Baruch showing their pedigree, sticking in there and, you know, pulling ahead with a minute left in the game is it will be Lena Batar going to the line to shoot 2 as she misses the first.
Batar nearly converted through the contact once again on that last shot opportunity. As we've mentioned, the Dolphins' efficient shooting, their defense, the offensive rebounding especially, but rebounding overall in this game was solid, and getting it done in all aspects of the game. It's tough to lose when you play that brand of basketball, and CSI certainly getting the job done tonight in their first home conference matchup of the year. With the victory, they will improve to 2-0 in the CUNYAC as the final horn sounds, and CSI wins over John Jay by 25 points. Our final score, CSI 83, John Jay 58.
Yeah, you know, the positives surrounding this women's basketball team really continue. You know, they were coming in playing a John Jay team that traditionally they've been able to handle, but it's a John Jay team that was vastly improved and was coming in with a lot of momentum. But the Dolphins came out strong, really took it to them early, really got on track offensively in that second quarter, Joe, and never really looked back from there.
Well, there's not much to say that hasn't already been said, so very quickly I'll run through the final stats. I'll see if we're getting a guest as well, but now we'll get word on that in a few minutes. But final stats for both sides. Of course, Dolphins winning 83-58. Big win for CSI. They shot 32 of 70 from the field overall. That's 46%. Only about 28% for John Jay on 18 of 65 shooting. For CSI from 3, 5 of 13. A good number for them. 38.5%. An improvement, a vast improvement over what they've done this season. John Jay 4 of 18 for 22.2% from the field. CSI hitting 14 of 24 free throws. John Jay 18 of 28. As we will indeed have a guest, it will be Diana Todaro joining us. And Diana, thanks for coming over. A big game for you, especially for the team overall on the offensive glass. You certainly took advantage of the matchup in the paint. What were you looking to exploit inside against this team?
You know, I just wanted to be aggressive. Like I'm sorry. Is it on, right? Coming into this game, our team, our main goals were just to be very aggressive on the board, both sides, and that was really key. So me and my team just wanted to grab at every board as possible. Whenever the shot went up, just box out and get that board, get that ball.
You know, Diana, you were on this team last year, a team that went all the way to the CUNYAC finals and had that real tough loss against Brooklyn College, and such a big turnover between this year's team and last year's team. But the team has really come out and played very well here at the start of the season. How do you like this new team that you've been playing on so far this year?
I love my team. I love the coaches, really great. They're really great women. Our team, you know, last year we had Christy, Tori, and they always shot to score and looked to shoot. I'm sorry, guys. Getting nervous over here. We never really had that post work, you know what I mean? So now coming into this year, our coaches really took upon that, and that's what we've been working on. So it's been great.
You know, Di, one big change from this year's team to last year's team, so much more size on this year's team. Kayla Schmidt coming in as a freshman and really playing well. Rosa Perone playing well. Tracy Simon hasn't been playing that much, but also with a lot of size. And you and Jackie with a lot of size. This team has gone from being a small team to being a pretty big team, especially for the CUNYAC Conference. It seems like you've done a good job taking advantage of that.
Absolutely.
All right, Diana, thanks for joining us. No need to be nervous over here, and I don't think we'll be seeing you guys again until after the holiday break here at home, so enjoy your holidays. Thanks for coming over, and congratulations on the win.
Have a good night. Thank you.
Diana Todaro, a big night for the College of Staten Island. 6 rebounds, 3 of those coming on the offensive glass, helping the Dolphins dominate in that department. 8 of 15 from the field with 18 points as well to go along with 3 steals. So that will wrap up coverage of the first half of our CUNYAC Conference doubleheader. The women defeat the Bloodhounds by a score of 83-58. The men take on John Jay. Coming up next, tip-off in approximately 25 minutes. We'll join you shortly before then.